While this thing loads, we'll just get ourselves started. Our first storyteller tonight is an award-winning storyteller. He won the Lucy Beck, thanks, I knew you'd know. Lucy Beck Award in 1997. He's a retired kindergarten teacher from Zion, Illinois. And last week, about a week and a half ago, he gave a workshop at the Kenosha Writers Guild. And we had 26 people show up, which we normally have like 5 people show up at these things. And it was a great, packed room. It's a wonderful workshop. He's the reason we're here, that there's so much passion and excitement around this. And while I catch my bearings here, I'm sure you'll be a lot smoother than I am right now. So, anyhow, forgive the terrible introduction, but welcome Tom Clark.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Recently, all of us have been inundated by all kinds of news items, I'm sure, globally that affect us. And sometimes when you hear something on the news, it transports you back to an experience or something you have already heard or experienced yourself. That happened to me recently when I read about a certain president who wanted to build a wall between our country and Mexico. And I remembered that a number of years ago, in a different cultural time, my uncle Bill, later in life, took a job as a border agent between the United States and Mexico. And all of us in Minnesota couldn't believe he was leaving us, to go down there, but he just found it to be an exciting experience. So, he told us about a time when he was watching for people coming through, and he was checking bags and whatever, and wanted to make sure that nobody was smuggling in something that they shouldn't. But again, this was 30 years ago, and probably they weren't looking for the kinds of things they were looking for now. But so he told us about this time. He was watching, and down the road to this border crossing came a man leading a donkey, and the donkey had 3 bundles of straw on its back. And the man came through and was searched and started to lead the donkey through, and my uncle said, "Wait a minute, what's in those bundles of straw?" And the man didn't say anything, and so my uncle started to gently look through the bundles of straw and see if there was anything hidden in there, and he couldn't find anything, so he invited the gentleman to go on his way. The next day, here comes the same gentleman leading the donkey toward the border, 3 bundles of straw on its back. So he searches the gentleman, and then he searches the bundles of straw a little more vigorously than he had searched them the day before. Couldn't find anything, so he said, "Be on your way." Third day, down the road comes the same gentleman with a donkey and 3 bundles of straw on his back. This time, Uncle Bill was not amused. He said, "Look, I know you're smuggling something. Now what is it? And so he grabbed one of those bundles of straw off of the donkey's back, and he ripped it off, and he threw it on the ground, and he grabbed another one, and he threw it in the air, and he smashed all those bundles of straw with his feet, and he couldn't find anything. And he sent the gentleman and the donkey on their way. Fourth day. Here he comes again with the donkey. This time, 3 bundles of straw, and Uncle Bill was a little irate by this time, and so he ripped those bundles off, and he threw one high and low and stomped around on them. Still couldn't find anything, anything that shouldn't be there. So he sent the gentleman on his way. This went on every day for an entire week. This went on for an entire month. This went on for an entire year. Every single day, the same gentleman led a donkey up the path, 3 bundles of straw on its back, and my Uncle Bill had lost all control. He was nuts about this. He knew something was going on, but he just couldn't figure out what it was. He asked the other agents to come over, and they all helped him shred that straw bundles, one after another. Nothing. And they sent the man on his way. Well, I told you that Uncle Bill was a little older when he took this job, and so he held it for a couple of years and then retired from it and was going to head back up to Minnesota. So after his last day of work, he slept in the next morning, then went down to the village square and had a nice tall cup of coffee, and that's when he heard a familiar voice. And he looked over and saw the gentleman who he had seen every day for almost 2 years, and he leaped over and said, "You, I know that you were smuggling something all that time, and I couldn't figure it out. What was it? You were smuggling something, weren't you?" And the man just smiled. "What was it?" he said. "What was it?" And the man leaned over and said, "Donkeys." And that's the truth, too.